Good evening. Good evening, everybody. I don't see anybody online, but I'll just go ahead and get started. Um, my name is George Ansong, and I'll be teaching this buy, fix, and flip. I'm an investor, a realtor, and entrepreneur, and I've been in this business as an investor when I took a no money down seminar in the early 1980s. This is just a brief summary about me. I bought my first property in Brooklyn, New York, and a couple more in Jersey City, New Jersey. I moved to Atlanta in the 1990s, bought and sold a few businesses, properties. I formed Quadrant Investment with a partner that we used to buy, fix, and sell properties during the 2000 era. With my front money partners, I call them. Let's see. Hold on a second. Okay, let me use this. Okay, so I have some people have come on, so let me just, okay, allowed to talk. Anytime. Okay, let's see something. All right, anytime I say allowed to talk, then I know. Can you guys hear me? Okay, let's see. Hold on a second. Can you guys hear me? Okay, allow, okay, hold on a second. Hello? Okay, let's go here. Allowed to talk. Hello?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, good. How about Ronell Hunt? Are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, good, good. So all of you can hear me, right?
Yes.
Okay. It's going to be interactive. So if I say anything that you have any question, you can just jump in, all right? It's just the two of you, so we can, we can just talk as I, I do the presentation, okay? Now, okay, hold on, let me see something. I don't know, I was just seeing myself, then all of a sudden I disappeared. Let's see. Let's say promoted. Hold on, give me a second, let me see. I don't know why. Promoted. Okay, if any of you want to just talk or something, just put it on the chat, then I'll allow you because it takes me off the screen, which is not very good. Okay. Why is he doing that? Always. Okay, I'm back. Okay, you guys can hear me, right? I'm back to myself. Okay, I will just start. I said, I introduced my name, George Ansong. I'm an investor, realtor, and entrepreneur. I've been in the business for a long time, the 1980s. Bought my first property in Brooklyn, New York, and a couple more in Jersey City, New Jersey. In the 1990s, I moved to the Atlanta area, which is where I am right now. I bought and sold a few businesses, properties for a while. Then I formed a company called Quadrant Investment with a partner. Our mission was to buy, fix, and sell, which is what I'm still doing right now. I remember in the 2008, 2009, if most of you remember, that's when we went through the big market crash. Market crashed. We lost some money, stuff like that. But I'm a guy that always believe in bouncing back. I also taught real estate investment in area colleges, including Kennesaw State University. I wrote all my instructional manuals. And at that time, I was also organizing like real estate mentoring and coaching programs that I will start doing pretty soon. I took my students on field trips I took my investors on field trips to gain first-hand experience. Currently, I have a company, GAV Capital Partners. I work with Triman Enterprises, a licensed contractor, to work and manage our projects. Both of us have over 30 years experience. I currently wrote a book that is now on Amazon called The Cash Flow Real Estate Agent. It tells you how agents can work with investors. So that's briefly my background, and I love teaching. So I'm happy you guys have joined me to talk about buy, fix, and flip. I'm going to be specific in what I talk about because I'm going to tell you my experience doing during this course. All right. Okay, let's go on. Okay, this is if you need to get hold of me, that's my name, George Ansong. My number 770-841-7920, and GAV Capital Partners LLC at Gmail. That's my email in case you want to get hold of me. All right, we're not going to go on the course. Now, I always want to begin by doing an outline when I call the 10 building blocks of a profitable real estate deal. This will help us move into the specific deals or topics that we're going to talk about. And I told you I wrote a book called The Cash Flow Real Estate Agent, right? So this outline is really in the book that I wrote. And I believe that as real estate investors, we always have to educate ourselves. It's like what you guys are doing right now, because you always learn something new. All right, so it's always good and advisable to try to educate yourself as much as you can. I'm a big believer in that because I remember back in the 1980s, I didn't know anything about real estate investment. I had no clue. All I had was that you can go and you'll be able to buy property with no money down. I had the information. I was very, very excited. So it was a 2-day course, and it changed the trajectory of my life because it really taught me so much. Why am I saying it? Because I believe that education can transform your whole outlook in terms of like real estate investment is concerned. So I would encourage you guys to seek as much education as you can, because the more you know, the more you're able to also improve your skills, and the more you're able to structure deals that make sense. So the 10 building blocks of real estate, of a profitable real estate deal, one is education. The other one is what I call your winning formula. When I say winning formula, what do I mean? In real estate, there's so many strategies that one can take, right? You can buy, fix and sell, you can buy, hold, you can buy and do refinance it, you can buy and do Airbnb. There's so much strategies available to an investor. So I believe that right from the onset, one has to know what their winning formula is. Okay, so the winning formula is the strategy that you are going to use to buy your property. For example, I'm going to tell you when we go into details. My winning formula is to buy properties, fix them, and then resell them. Now, but not only that, I also buy in specific zip code areas. I also buy so that we can sell it in about a $500,000 price range. All right, when I do the deal, when we go into the numbers, I'll be able to show you. So all these help me to formulate my winning formula. So winning formula is a strategy that you devise to help you formulate your strategy that will help you generate much more income. That's the winning formula. That's what I mean. So I believe that all of us have to have a winning formula. For example, you can say my winning formula is to buy a property in the 200 price range, fix it up, and be able to rent it and get net income of X amount. So you can do that. I also believe that as investor, we have to understand the local market and know what's going on. For example, right now we know that there is an inventory shortage, therefore prices are going up. One. Secondly, interest rate is going up. That means people who are buying in a certain price range cannot afford it, right? So it's very, very important for us as investors to understand what's going on in the marketplace. It's very, very, very important, and to monitor and know what's going on. For example, in my market, where I'm buying and when we go, I'm going to tell you, I realized that there's a really acute shortage of the property that we are buying to sell. And so that has also helped us to, raise money from my investors to buy more, because they know that the market is so hard, and they know that there's inventory shortage, and they know that if we finish the property and put it on the market, we'll be able to sell it very, very fast. And so that's another knowledge that we need to have to monitor to know what's going on in the marketplace. Another block that we need to do is to have a good team, a good appraiser, a good attorney, a good maybe real estate agent that will help you uh, get good deals, a lender, a good lender, hard money lender, stuff like that. This is a team that you have to be able to assemble as you move forward with your deals. The other thing that we have to think about when it comes to real estate investment is capital to complete deals. If you've been following REI, we are going, I think May 7, we are going to have raising $100,000 in 100 days or something like that, right? And I will encourage all of you to come to that seminar, because capital is very, very important to complete deals, and the ability to know how to raise capital is very, very crucial if you're going to be doing deals all the time. And when we get into part of the how I raise capital, I'm going to tell you briefly about what I do. Okay, so capital to complete it, because as you know, real estate investment, is very, very capital intensive. You always need capital. I don't care how much money you have, it will be gone in a minute. Or so you're doing a $500,000 here, you're doing this $1 million here, money just disappears just like that, So you have to have ways to tap into capital. All right. Now, and next thing is your exit strategy. After you buy the property, what are you going to do? That's very, very important. And the strategy that you use, that is what is going to help you. For example, if you are buy, fix, and sell, it's a different analysis than if you are buying to rent or whatever. So you have to know your strategy. We'll go into details when we get into that. The other outline. Now, the next thing is, what is the tax implication of your deal? As you know, when you do a deal and you sell it or you rent it, there are tax implications. So you have to know from the onset. For example, the strategy that we do, buy, fix, and sell, when you get the money is considered ordinary income. So there's a lot, depends on your tax bracket. You have to pay Uncle Sam 20, 25, 30%. So you have to know. And if you are doing buying whole long term, you will have passive income. And passive income, the tax implication is different from ordinary income. Sorry. All right. Okay. Okay. Now, the next thing we have to think about is the risks involved. Are you risk averse or very, very, you don't mind taking risk? Because everything being equal in real estate investment, anything that you do, there are risks involved. For example, buy, fix, sell strategy is very, very highly risky deals. The reason is because you are involved with so many people involved in the deal. You are involved in, you are working with contractors, and you know how, if you even done it, gotten somebody to work in your house, you know how something that you took might take about a week might take about 2 or 3 weeks. All right. So imagine doing a deal, buying, fix, and sell deal that going to take about 6 or 8 months to get finished. So anything can happen. And when we get into the other outline, I'll tell you more like some of the experiences that we have to deal with, for example, when we're doing deals. All right. Also, time involved, there's a lot involved in real estate investments. You have to also take that into consideration. All right. Now the next thing is I call this one ideal. I always believe that we should be involved in real estate investment because somebody said real estate is the ideal investment. What do they mean by ideal? I is for income, D is for depreciation, E is equity, A appreciation, and L leverage. So that's what we call real estate as an ideal investment. All right. Now let's go to now. Now going to give into my specific strategy when I buy, and this is peculiar to me as an investor. So you can take the outline and maybe also uh, put it into what you are trying to do. For example, when I'm doing deals, we have, or me and my team, we have specific areas or specific zip codes that we zero in. Okay, so my zip codes that I buy property are mostly in Atlanta area: 30079, 30018, 1716, 30002. This I made a mistake. Now that's where I concentrate because we buy at a certain, when normally we buy through wholesalers. Sometimes we might get some from through FMLS, but mostly through wholesalers, because as an investor, I have a network of wholesalers. You know, wholesalers are people who buy property at a discount and then sell it to us. I call myself like a rehab investor. Okay, so we'll buy the property from our wholesalers. All right, so these are the zip code that we're going into. And when we move, I'll tell the numbers that I use. Why did I choose this zip code? Because the strategy that we are employing help us to buy and sell at a certain price range. Most of the properties that we buy and sell are mostly, when we finish it, we are able to sell it at like a $500,000 price and up. Now, if you don't mind, I'm going to show you. Maybe I'll be able to do. I'm going to show you a property. Hold on a second. Let me see if I'll be able to show you this. Okay, this is a property. Let me see. Okay, let's see. Hold on. Hold on a second. Okay, hold on a second. Share. Okay. This is a property that we bought in the zip code, right? 30002 area code, Avondale Estates in Decatur area, right? DeKalb County, this one. We are still going through I just showed you, we are still going through the processes to get a permit, right? We have their drawings and everything. It looks good. I wish I could show it to you, but it looks very good. Maybe down the line, when I will do a call, and when we start, maybe if you guys are interested, we can go take a look. But this is a typical property that we have bought, right? But the strategy is we're going to tear it down, right? We're going to tear it down and build a new construction on the site. Now, properties in the area are going about 600, 620, 650 plus or minus. That's the property in the area. Now, I'm going to show you how we do the numbers, right? Based on this property that you're looking at, right? How we do the numbers. So let me just go back and go to the numbers. Software. Okay, let me go now. Okay. Okay, give me a second. Okay, let's see. Share. I have to get used to all this. Okay, now share. Okay, so one, identify specific. It doesn't have to be zip codes. It has to be just an area that you like to buy. All right. So identify a specific area that you like. And how do I get my properties? I get my properties or my deals normally through wholesale investors. Wholesale investors are just investors that their strategy is to get properties. They use all kinds of strategy to get a property at a discount, right? At a certain price range. And then we call ourselves rehab investors. we go and buy and then buy them. Okay. So that's okay. Okay. Now, the next thing that I do, and I'll be teaching this when we do the raising $100,000 in $100,000 in 100 days. I'll be talking more about it. But the next thing that I do, specific to me, is that you remember when we were talking about the 10 building blocks of real estate. I told you that real estate is very, very capital intensive, and therefore the ability to raise capital is very, very crucial. Although we might go to private lenders to get money to fund our deals, right? I need money, or my group need money, for what I call soft cost. All right, soft cost. So my fund money partners are the people that I use to finance my soft cost in the construction or in the rehab that we're going to do. Now, when I say soft cost, what do I mean? Plans, architectural drawings. All right. Before we are able to go to, like, let's say, private lender to go get money to fund the deal or to construct the property, we need some drawings to show them. Secondly, we need permit. You know, we have to go to the city and get a permit. All those have to be paid upfront from our own pocket. We have to do a survey. Sometimes we might have to do engineering. Okay, I see somebody maybe put a chat or something like that. Okay, somebody asks, how long will something like that take from start to finish? That's a good question. I'll ask you. Normally, 6 months. It's taking a little bit longer. And one of the reasons is because, you know, with the pandemic and most of the city, departments shutting down and taking their sweet time, it's just certain areas is notorious for taking so long. For example, the area that we are doing deals in, it takes forever for us to get permit. But what can we do? You know, if there's an area, if there's something that I really would like to change, that is an area that I would really like to change. But it takes a while. All right, it takes a while. It takes a while. For example, the building that I showed you, I mean, we should get it in the next 3 or 4 weeks, but we've been doing it for the past maybe 2 months or more. You know, it takes a while. That's one of the drawbacks. You know, it takes a while. And even let me make a further comment. You know, we're having shortages in terms of even new build or new construction. And one of the biggest challenges that builders are having is getting their permits and other things approved for them to do the construction. And I'll talk about this too. Another reason why it takes so long is because if we are doing these kind of deals or this kind of construction, right? Every job that is done on the site, you know, the city has to come and inspect it and approve it. For example, you do the sheet rock, right? They have to come and approve it. You do the electrical roof, they have to come and approve it. So, you know, all this takes time. All right, to answer your question. Please, if you have any question, you know, just put on the chat and I'll look at it and answer as we go ahead. When I'm done, I'll open the phone and then we can talk. Okay, so when I say soft cost, this is what I mean: plans, agricultural drawings, permit, survey, engineering, arborists. There are certain areas that when we're going to do a deal, we might have to cut some of the trees. And believe it or not, you have to go to the city to get permit to, because you know all of that. We have to rent a dumpster. You know, believe it or not, dumpster nowadays they are $400-500. You know, depends on what you're doing. Like the property I show you, we're going to cut everything down, so we might need 3, 4, 5 dumpsters. You know, trash removal, carrying costs like mortgage payment, stuff like that, insurance, utilities, property taxes, right? So these are what I call soft costs, right? So we will need that money upfront before we even go get the money. So I have 2 or 3 or some people that I can tap into. maybe 2 or 3 people, one can give me maybe $20,000, $30,000, or whatever the amount that we come to, right? Those are the money that they furnish. And the way I handle that is that I only give them normally 5% interest, simple interest for like 6 months for a year. We don't pay anything until after the 6 months or after the year. All right. So that money, we just give them some interest. Then also, when we go into doing the numbers, I'll tell you maybe they can also participate in the net profit. Let's say we make about $80,000 profit or 100, or whatever profit that we make, right? We'll be able to structure it so that they can also participate in the profit. Okay, so one, we identify the areas that we want to buy. Two, we identify fund money partners, 2 or 3 that will, let's say, allow us to borrow the money, so we can be able to do all these things before we go to actual private lender, or what we call hard money lenders, to loan us the money. All right. Now, okay. Now, let's do some numbers, right? You remember I told you that in the 10 building blocks, I told that we have a winning formula, right? So let me just explain how we do deals, right? For example, the property that I showed you, we know that after we demolish it and build a new property on the site, right? We'll be able to sell the property for $650,000. I'm just giving you an example, right? So if you have a piece of paper you can write, so we can all go together, right? So ARV is what we call after repair value, right? Now, the purchase price of the property as it stands, the one that you saw that I showed you that we're going to tear down, right? It's $169. All right. Now, construction costs. This is the money that we're going to borrow from a private lender, or who we call hard money lenders. Hard money lender or private lender. This is different from my fund money partners, the money that we borrow from them. Why? Because the money that we borrow from money partners is going to help us to do drawings, permits, engineering, and all the little stuff, right? So that the information that we get from there will help us to package everything together so that we can go to the private lender or hard money lender to get a construction cost. All right. So now, if you add the 250, which is the construction cost, right, plus how much we bought the property for, right, it comes to $419,000. All right. Now, so roughly, this is roughly gross profit. Rough gross profit is 650 minus 419, which will give us $231,000. But this excludes the money that we borrow from the fund money partners that we have to pay them, the interest payment we have to pay. If you're going to help, have an agent to sell the property for us and stuff like that. So by the time that you remove everything, maybe your net profit might be maybe $190,000 or something like that. Well, which is still pretty good. All right. So that gives you an idea of what we're talking about. All right. If you have any question like that, just put it on the chat and I'll answer. All right, let me go back. Okay. Now, apart from this, right, we also have a formula that I use, and I'm going to show you the formula that I use when you're doing a buy fix, you're doing a rehab deal like I did, right? I told you the ARV, which is the after repair value. So you take the after repair value, which is 650, right? Always advisable to make sure that you know how much you're going to sell the properties for after you buy. It's very, very important, okay? Because that's going to determine a whole bunch of stuff, right? How do you get that, right? You can hire an agent to do a comparison for you, or you can drive in the area or go to Zillow, whatever you have to do to get how much properties are selling in the area. It's very, very important. So we take the ARV, which is the after repair value, and multiply that by 70. That's the formula. Now, when you take 650 and multiply it by 70, you get 455. 1, 2, 3. All right. Now, this amount, right? This amount that we have, 455, should be able to include the construction cost and the purchase price. So 455 should include your purchase price. This time, if it's possible, let me see if I can get you guys to like ask questions, because I know this area sometimes is a little bit. Let me see if I can get you guys. We can talk and allowed to talk. Okay, allowed to talk. Okay, now I'll allow you guys to talk, right? So if you have a question, just ask me before I go on, because I know sometimes this area can be a little bit. Hello.
I'm looking at the numbers here, and where do you account for the soft cost?
Okay, that's a very, very interesting question, right? The soft cost is built. The soft cost, that's an interesting question. The soft cost is built into the construction cost, because when we get a construction cost, right? Let's say the soft cost came to about, let's say, 30,000 or 40,000, right? That is built into the construction cost, because when we go to get the construction cost, right, the private lender or hard money lender will be able to give us some of the soft costs that we got from our investors. That's a good question. Does it make sense to you?
Okay, so you pretty much, you're just accounting for the soft cost because you got to pay it before closing.
Yes, I have to pay it before closing, right? Not only that, right? I also need the money upfront to do the work that I want to do.
Right. And then what about the gap too? Because normally, I mean, even with an exceptional lender, isn't it like 85 or 90% on the purchase price, and then maybe they'll do the whole construction?
Okay. Normally, with the type of deal that we're doing, we're talking about rehab deals, right? Or you're talking about just general construction, like maybe.
Oh no, like yeah, because like if you're using a hard money lender, normally they don't do 100% financing.
Yes.
So don't you have to have money in order to be able to close? Period.
Okay, you're right. Okay. 2 ways. That's who is speaking. Is it Ronell Hunt? Is that you?
Yes.
Okay, good. Okay. Now, that's an interesting question, right? Now, with this one, right, the purchase price, right, the 169, guess what? We pay cash for it.
Oh, okay.
Okay, but you're right. Now, in fact, when I was doing this, another thing that I forgot, you're right, okay? So the soft cost would also, in case you are not going to pay cash for it, will also include down payment. You're right.
Okay, that makes sense.
Okay, it's also include down payment, the soft cost, right? So
Okay.
include, that's a good question. I wasn't thinking about it in that sense, but yeah, include and closing costs and all that, right? But
Right.
everything is involved when you are doing it, and because you have money, because we've been able to raise maybe sometimes $20,000, $30,000 or 40. The last one we did, we were able to have about $85,000 that we tapped into all that, right? and we were able to pay everybody for some like that. All right.
Okay.
So then you have the money for down payment, you have money for interest payment, you have money for, but if you do the numbers really well, and it doesn't have to be 650, it can be ARV 400, but you bought everything 250, you have 150. So that's a lot of money to throw around, if that makes sense to you. But that's a
Right.
good question. All right. So, but the rule, Rashad, the rule that I'm trying to explain is that you take, let's say this one, right? 650, right? We multiply it by 70, right? We get 455. Okay. Now, according to the formula, right? Your purchase price and your construction cost should equal that. Should equal 445,000. All right. In this case that we're doing, if you remember, right, we paid $160,000 for the property, right? So if you subtract $160,000 from 455, we have $286,000. But when we did the analysis, remember I told you the construction cost was 250. That means we have money available for us to do the deal, which is very, very good. If it makes sense, we can take another example. We can take another example, and let's say that your after repair value is 400. We're doing another example, right? 400,000, right? So we multiply 400,000 by 70. 400,000 times 70. Okay, hold on a second. Okay, 280. So that means we should be able, if we're going to buy the property, right? And the ARV is 400,000, we should be able to buy it for, we'll buy and fix it everything for $280,000. That is the only way that we will make, decent money. If it makes sense to you. Okay, let's see. Minus 280. 400. 480 minus 280. Okay, $200,000. That's how much is left. That's our gross profit. And out of that gross profit, we're going to pay down payment, our investors, everybody that we borrow money from, we'll be able to have money to pay them. Okay?
Okay.
Does it make sense to you?
Yes.
Okay. Now, so this is very, very important. Anytime that you are doing a rehab deal, first find the after repair value, multiply it by 70, whatever number you get, your construction cost and your purchase price should be that number. If you're able to follow that formula and strictly adhere to it, all your deals will be profitable. Even if it takes longer or if something happens that you weren't expecting, you should do pretty good. You should be able to do good. Because that means you have about $30,000 gross profit. Gross profit in the deal, 30%. That's pretty good. So you should be able to do pretty well. And that's it. That's an area that a lot of rehab investors miss their area. Okay, let's go to the next. Okay, so we talk about the numbers. Now let's go. Now, this is an area that's very, very challenging. Very, very challenging for people who are doing rehab, getting good general contractor or licensed people to do the job for you. In my case, I partnered with a general contractor, so they also have, like we call, a skin in the game. All right, so they know that if they finish early, they will be able to also make some money. So that gives them incentive to do good job. But that's an area that is always very, very challenging to anybody that is doing any kind of construction job. You know? And we also have a rehab supervisor to keep an eye on the timeline so that we'll be able to move it. There's a project that we're doing in Scottsdale, in Decatur, and it's taking longer than we expected because we run into all kinds of challenging situations and stuff like that. In the first place, it was during the pandemic that we were trying to get a license, so the permit, so it took longer. It took longer to get a permit. And then that is the time that it was hard to even get, like, lumber prices went up, and it was just so much. You know. It's taking us longer. I think we should be able to wind up by the end of this week, so we can put on the market. And thank God we bought it right. Okay, we bought it right, and we got the place very, very very inexpensive. So and at the time to reach were very, very low, so that helps us a lot. But it's taking us almost maybe a year or more, to get it done. I mean, it had a lot of the profit, but because the formula was so tight, we were able to at least come out and be able to pay all our fund money partners and also have a lot of money to go ahead with it. So that's an area that, I mean, it's very, very challenging. And encourage you that if you want to get involved in rehabbing, that's an area that you really have to make sure you have somebody that's very, very reliable and will be able to complete the job on time. Any comments or anything on that area before I move to the next?
I know that last one that you did was a new construction, but let's say it's not a new construction. Do you normally get an inspection, or you just let your general contractor go in there and do a bid?
Oh, okay, that's an excellent question. Normally, if we are not doing like doing a tear down, it's just a rehab, or if you're not adding anything, then sometimes being the permitting processes is very not very involved, so to speak, right? And normally at that time, to just general rehab, maybe you might not need to, inspection like our involvement in these rehabs, right? And it depends on the county and stuff like that. I have some people that is doing some work in Atlanta, for example, right now, and they say, hey, we're not tearing down anything. We're just going to update everything, so we don't need to get permit and stuff like that. So yes, depends on what you want to do. But once you get involved, like for example, one that we did, we have to add more square footage, right? So if you add more square footage, that means it has to go through the permitting process and stuff like that. But if you just maybe updating and stuff like that, you're not going to like tear walls and move times, right? Then you might not need the permitting. But deals that right now, the deals that we are doing, most of the time we have to go through the permitting process.
Okay.
And that's why, like in this course, it's like what I'm teaching is like unique, very, very unique to me, because it's like experiences that I have, because we are doing like rehab and selling it about $500,000 and up. We are using fund money partners. So if like you are doing like rehabs, like after you do everything, $300,000, you might not need an extensive process like what I'm doing right now, because ours is very, very unique in terms of what we're doing. So that's why I even call it a unique, or I call it a niche rehab investor. That's what I call myself. Yeah, ours is very, very strategy specific. So in yourself, Rochelle, let's say, I don't know who, just let me a quick question. Are you interested in doing like buy, fix, and sell? That's your interest, your strategy.
You asking me?
Yeah.
Eventually, right? I've done a few wholesale deals and I bought a rental, but I've always been interested in doing the fix and flips. I'm just concerned with the rehab part of it, because I know that a lot of contractors are not necessarily trustworthy. And, if you don't have certain things in place, contracts and insurance and everything, they can run off with your money. You kind of got to trust them because you got to give them money up front to get materials. And they may have like the Home Depot Pro things that you don't have. So it's just, to me, putting a lot of trust in somebody's hands that you don't know. And of course, if it's something like you've been doing it for a while, so you got your guys that you work with. But for someone like me that, don't really have a team, I could be looked at like bait,
I have a suggestion for you. I have a suggestion for you.
Okay.
Team up with somebody. It doesn't have to be. Just get somebody that any of the instructors and then team up. Then team up with them and do 1 or 2 deals so you will learn and then you can move on.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Partner with somebody. Partner. Just think about it. Call around, network. Are you part of any networking like Georgia Real Estate Investors Association or Atlanta Real Estate Investors Association or any kind of networking or meetup group or anything like that?
Only the REIA, which is where I think I'm networked in with this, and it was a lot easier before COVID because I used to go to at least the main meeting, if nothing else, and it used to be a good opportunity to meet others. But since COVID, I think everything has gone to Zoom and online, and so
That's true.
work full time. I'm an insurance broker, so
Okay.
it's for me to do things during the day necessarily. So that's why I take advantage of the opportunities at night. But people are not meeting up again, so I'm
That's
hoping
true.
it changes so that I can get back out there and rub elbows with some other investors and maybe get a partner or two.
Yeah, that would be a good idea. Even like you saying, I used to go a lot, but the pandemic, it's just stopped. So I have to start going. I have seen them, doing things online and Zoom, like you said. Like this year, my goal is to go and network a lot because I wrote a book and I want the book to be out there. So that's my goal to network. So trying to partner with somebody will be in your case. Like somebody was. I belong to a lot of groups on a Facebook, right? And somebody like you say, oh, this and this, and he had gone to do it without seeking the advice or partnership with somebody, and he's been, something happened, so he was complaining. So I made a comment. I said, listen, in your situation, the best thing to do is get somebody who knows what they're doing and partner with them. Do
Right.
1 or 2 deals. And then I did that for the longest before. I had
Right.
somebody that was coaching me when I started back in New York. I paid some money, but it paid off. And so that's because there's so much, especially when you get into rehab. There's so much that could go wrong.
Right.
I'm not saying this to scare you, right? It's very, very lucrative, but like anything else, like I said, when the risk involved is much more higher. Like wholesale is not easy, but you buy the property, you sell it to us, we buy, you get your money and you run,
Right.
But
Yeah, the
but
worst thing that could go wrong, the worst thing that can happen with a wholesale deal is the end buyer decides to not, not perform. And at that point you got in their earnest money if you did it
yeah,
right. And you just
yeah.
go ahead and pay the seller if you can't find another person. And maybe you make 1,000 or whatever. Let's say you put earnest money down for 1,000,
Mhm.
you pay 2,500 from them. Well, you made $1,500.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, that's the worst that can happen. So
yeah,
you're absolutely right.
yeah. You know, but when you're doing rehab, I mean, you have so much involved in it. You have borrowed the money, in my case, fraud money partners. I borrow money from hard money lender. I'm paying these, and constructors pulling your leg, all kinds of stuff, So
Right.
my recommendation in that sense is to just partner with somebody who has done a couple of deals, and really to learn more, right? I mean, you may make some money, and then after you do one or two, the next one, you can just go do it on your own because then you know the ropes.
Right.
Yeah.
I
So
appreciate it. Thank you.
that would be my recommendation. And like now you've met me, that's why I encourage people to take this because now you've met me. So I mean, we have no number and anything. I've always liked to give back or teach or help people. So I mean, you have my number. You can always text and ask me
Yeah,
questions.
reach out. I took a snapshot of that page that had your contact information, so I'll definitely keep in touch.
Yeah, you can always keep it. And that's one of the reasons why I like about REI, this because there's a lot of expert instructors and teachers and people who've done it. It's not like people who like just teach, because I'm a hands-on. I do it myself. So I'm not like just teaching from book knowledge, I'm on the field. I'm even planning to do a program where I used to do it a long time ago. I used to take students, we go properties that I've been working on and stuff like that, ask questions, meet some of my contractors, some of the workers, and just interact and see what's going on.
Right.
It's always good to, take these courses so you can know and interact with people. Now, the next stage is the marketing and selling process, right? So we talk about the numbers, we talk about the 10 building blocks, we talk about the area that you target, and so the next thing is to sell. Now, and I have to disclose that I'm also an agent but I was an investor before I became an agent. So when we do deals too, I try to market it, So somebody asked me, is it advisable to stage your property? Yeah, we stage it. Any property that we stage it, either virtual or actual staging, stage it because that also enhances the property, bring the best out of it. We do good landscaping, everything that we have to do. Because when people are buying properties in the $500,000 price range, they're very, very demanding and very discerning and very whatever you want to put it. So you have to make sure that you appeal to their emotions and stuff like that. So we stage it, first class staging. There's a property that we sold. I can give you the address. You can go Google and see. We sold it, just before Christmas and something like that. Went for 600 something. It was in Kirkwood area in Atlanta. Very nice property. We staged it nice. We took nice pictures. And now the market is so strong and properties are staying in the market, on a shorter period. So once you do this and good landscaping, good pictures, good staging, putting on the FMLS, market it, the property will sell, especially in this market. Maybe I don't know what's going to happen 18 months or 24, whatever month from now. But at this time, in this period, properties are selling if it's well marketed, So that's what I do. And so this is specific to my strategy, my winning formula. I told you what's your winning formula. So this is my winning formula. We buy properties in certain areas. We know what's going on because I understand the market. I know who is coming in there to buy the properties. I know who our target buyers are. They are second buyers or, in the price range. Okay, so we do everything to profile who we selling to. Okay, so that is the process that I use as an investor. That's my strategy. That's my winning formula. I don't do, at this time, I'm not doing Airbnb. I'm not doing buying a whole. I used to do that a long time at this stage in my strategy. We just buy, we fix, I sell, and then I pay Uncle Sam how much I owe them, Okay. What happened? Okay. Are you there?
Yeah.
There's somebody on there. He hasn't asked any question at all. DC Surface. Should I unmute you or what? Unmute yourself. You have any question? Then the free talk. What time is it? Free talk. You can ask any question at all.
Yeah, no, I'm good.
You sure? You don't have any questions at all?
How long did it take for you to find your private investors? And do you have a network of them, or do you go back to the same people?
That is very, very interesting. Believe me or not, right? You have a network of private investors, but maybe you haven't happened to them, right? Or maybe they don't know, or maybe you haven't done a deal before. Can I tell you who your private investors could? No, I'm not private lender, but private like front money partners, I call them. Can I tell who they can be?
Are they friends and family?
Yeah, family member, a friend, co-worker, and stuff like that. You'll be surprised.
Yeah.
The key is to come up with a deal that makes sense. All right. The first thing is also honest and trust that they believe in you. And can I tell you a secret? As people, we are very greedy. Because just think about it. Sometimes I watch like on TV, you know how like somebody will go, and I'm not saying we're going to do that, right? Somebody can go and talk people and they will take their money from them, maybe 100,000. I say, what's going on here? All right. But everything being equal, right? Forget about them. If we are honest, have a good deal and can demonstrate. But when I teach the other course that I'll be teaching 100, making 100,000 in this thing, I have to do's and don'ts in raising money. I have it here now. You know, once you have a deal that makes sense, that's where you start from. Let's say DC Surface, right? Is that your real name or you just? Hello.
Yeah, no, my real name's Dewey, but I go by DC.
Okay.
Have my whole life. So yeah.
Okay. Okay, DC, I'm going to give you an illustration, right? Let's say I find a property that I can buy for $100,000, right? I can put in $100,000 to fix it, right? And I can sell it for $400,000. The profit margin or the gross profit is $200,000. And I'm able to come and show you the area, showed you properties that sold in the area for the amount that I'm showing you. And I'll show you the numbers. If you have the money and you trust me, you will give it to me. So the key is getting the deal. If you get a good deal and you can demonstrate using the formula that I'm showing you, and we can go to a hard money lender to give us the actual money, the construction money. You will get somebody to give you $10,000, $20,000 or 15 or whatever it is.
How do you find the current cost of materials escalating and the lead times, delays, and things like that? How is that affecting your cost and your time to complete your projects now?
Okay, that's an excellent question, DC. Now, that's why you remember, I don't know if you follow, but if you follow, I use a formula, right?
Right.
Which is 30% gross margin. 30%. So the worst case scenario from experience, you will break even and you pay your investors. If you adhere to that formula, because let's say the properties we give it $100,000, right? This is on a smaller scale, right? We use 70%, right? So that means there's 30% gross profit in it, right? So we're going to buy the property, fixing and everything with that $70,000. So you have $30,000, right? So the worst case scenario, somebody give you, because this is not a big deal, so somebody give you maybe $10,000 to do it. All right. The money is in the deal already, right? Because the $70,000 purchase and fix up, everything is building already. So the gross profit, the spread, which is $30,000 or 30%, is able to cover a whole bunch of stuff. So you can make mistakes for delays and payments and stuff like that, and you still come up ahead. That's how you think of it. That's why if we're able to use that 70% formula, you are always secure from experience. Because that's why nowadays, maybe Ronell, you can make a comment, right? Nowadays, for whatever reason, right? Wholesalers, you've been so, I mean, excuse me for the word, and I'm not talking about you, Ronell, forgive me, but they've been very, very greedy, right? They're not trying to leave some of the profit for us who are taking most of the risk.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right.
Okay. So nowadays, we are very, very careful. Like, I work with a lot of investors, you know. When I'm in the office, all I do is look at numbers and analyze, because I have people that are buying, or I have a stream of investors. I just do the numbers and send it to them. I don't even go look at the property, because when they look at the numbers, it makes sense to them. But nowadays, the wholesale deals that I'm getting, the numbers are so tight.
Yeah, because they most oftentimes, depending on where it's at, they're trying to get 25, 30, $40,000.
I know, which is killing the business.
Ridiculous.
Because you guys, and I'm not talking about you, but in wholesaling, they don't do anything. You just do marketing, you get a deal, walk away with $5,000, $10,000, but they want to make the whole money. They want to make the whole profit. So when that comes, that's where rehabbers or us, that's where we have to be careful. As long as we work the numbers right and we buy the property and there's the good spread, right, we'll always be fine, no matter what happens. But you have to buy it right.
Yeah.
I think another big thing is that you got to do your homework, DC, before you, like when it comes to those permits and stuff. You know, I know he's experienced, so he don't have to look at the property. But like, if you're trying to do your first one or your second one, or even like your fifth one, you know, you may want to make sure you're familiar with like the code and stuff in that area, because I actually was a private investor, like a soft investor on a deal with this guy that was referred to me, and same thing, invested my money, and now he's paying me back my money in bits and pieces because he didn't do his homework. So he was cutting down trees and ended up getting a stop work because he didn't get the permits for the trees. And, you know, they said it had a creek at the back. He didn't get the place surveyed properly. So he ran into a lot of things after he had already purchased a property, that because he didn't do his homework. Like, he's talking about knowing the area, knowing, you know, if you keep doing deals in the same area, then you're going to know, okay, I know that the city or the county takes this long to come out to do this, so we're going to plan this, and then we're going to do this. Or I know I could get away with this, but I can't get away with this. So I think you just got to do your homework. And like he said, once you get to a point where you've done enough, or if you're looking to start partnering with someone who's already done it, you lessen your risk of something going wrong, or you running into a scenario where you plan for 6 months, you got money for 6 months, you paying interest on, and you find yourself in it for 9 months or a year.
Mm-hmm. That's very good. Yeah. That's very, very good.
Yeah, that's good information. Let me, do you always use wholesalers, or are you able to find any properties on your own off market?
Now, because I'm very busy, right?
Yeah.
So I really don't have time to go before. Maybe before the market crashed, and I was even teaching wholesalers. We used to put signs on the road and do all of that, right? But at this stage, what I do is just look at deals. You know, that's all I do all day long. Like today, you know, I'm looking at deals, working the numbers, doing comms, making sure it makes sense. But then I send it to my investors. Some of them I just help, I just send property because I'm an agent. I make money too from doing that, right? Then I
Yeah.
have some that I put for myself. But the key is really doing the numbers. And like Rosanelle said, getting somebody that is very, very experienced. For example, let me give you another secret, right? Because we have a team, right? We have our architect, we have our surveyor, right? There are people, I don't know if you heard this, there are people, we call them expeditors. I mean, maybe my accent, I'm not saying the word right. Expedite, EXPIDITER. You know what they do? They have contacts in the city and are able to move our processes a little bit faster.
Expediters.
Expeditors. Okay, thank you. You see my accent, I couldn't say it right. Expeditors, right? So we have expeditors, and that's what they do. All right. Because we've been doing like my builder, he knows them. So, you know, they're able to even talk to them directly over the head and help, you know, give us a certificate of occupancy. Of course, everything has to line up, you know, but if you're in the back of the line, they're able to expedite you and stuff like that. So these are all some of the things with experience comes all these benefits that could accrue to you. So like this is like I suggested, Ronaldo, if you're not very, very sure, the best thing is to like partner with somebody. It doesn't have to be me. There are a lot of people out there that you know and stuff like that that maybe are doing the same thing. So partner with them, get to know them, take as many courses as you can. Like even at this stage, I'm still taking courses, you know, like what's the name? Stacy, who teaches, is very, very good. You know, anytime she's doing something, I hop on just to listen. Or any of the expert teachers, I hop on just to listen because they might say something, you know, differently from what I know or what I'm used to. So you're always learning because this business, I don't think there'll be a time that you can say, oh, I have arrived. I don't care how long you've been in the business. There's always something going on. Market is changing. You know, for example, back in before the market crash, you know, I was doing deals and all that, right? And I was teaching and doing good and all that. Then the market crashed, right? Then the market changed and then everything went online. You know, I'm not a savvy online guy, you know, I don't know how to promote and, you know, all kinds of stuff. So that's one of my areas that I'm also struggling with, right? So now I have to get to know how to do like Facebook marketing and all kinds of stuff that I'm not very, very familiar with, you know, and people that know that area, they're doing pretty well. They're able to do courses like this, teach online and all kinds of stuff. So that's an area that I also have to learn because the market has changed so much, you know, over the years, if I'm making sense. So that's what's going on.
Yeah.
If there is
All right.
anything that I can leave you as you go as a winner, right? Anything that I can leave you is one, know your winning formula, exactly what you want to do, and zero in on it. And learn as much as you can. Drive around, go to the area, you know, talk to people, network, you know. And then when you find a deal that is interesting, you can make money. Just if you don't have it, get some partners and partner with them and don't be shy, don't be bashful, you know, and just go out there and just make it happen. And that's my recommendation that I'll tell you guys. I appreciate you guys taking the time to hang out with me. Like I told you, you know, if you have questions or anything, you can always, I'm part of REI, so you can just ask me questions and I'll be more than happy to reach out to you. You know, you can text me, email me. Normally, I answer quickly text, you know,
Okay.
so, so text me, hey, I got this deal. What do you think? I'll look at it quickly and let you know what I think about it. Or if you even have a deal that you think it's good, just run it by me. Let's see. If I don't buy it, I always have a whole bunch of people. Like one day, one of my investors told me, said, David, you know,
Yeah.
George, I need a deal. I need a deal. What's going on? I say, I don't know. You moving too slow.
Okay, well, I certainly appreciate it. I enjoyed the seminar. I learned a lot, so thank
Yeah.
you.
Okay. All right.
Thank you. I
Okay.
appreciate it.
Okay, sure. Okay, reach out when you have a question. All right.
Most
Bye-bye.
certainly.
Thank you.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Bye.